Hey, this is Jonathan Clark and Jean Marie Russo. We are here today with one of our friends to discuss what this lady does and the disruption that she's creating in the industry, the revolution that she's trying to create in this industry, and leading the charge in the world of education, amongst other things. We've got the lovely Donna Vallese with us tonight. How are you, Donna?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm very, very well. I like the fact that you're like so calm, collected, just
know,
prior to the new
right?
school term starting.
I am like on my seat like this because she is a powerhouse. Jonathan. Donna is empowering. She is a leader. She is a trailblazer, a pioneer. Those are the words that I would use to term her. And we are so blessed that she is in the educational arena, because what she does is, and you can't, the value is priceless, Donna. It truly, truly is. Donna hails from upstate New York, right? Is it upstate New York? Am I correct?
Yep. Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great. Great. Well, without further ado, Donna and I actually met at Chrome Castle in the inner circle. So we truly had an opportunity to get to know each other through the last couple of years, and she is one of my speakers, speaking of Success Incorporated, but she is truly multitasking on steroids, and she is doing so much. She's award-winning. Donna, share with us a little bit, if you would, a little bit about your story, and definitely about your book and Matador and the whole 9 yards. We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'm Dr. Donna Vallese, and I, by day, am a director of learning and continuous improvement for a small rural school district in upstate New York, Green Central School. And in that, I really am in charge of teaching and learning in our whole district and really transforming that and just making sure that we're meeting students' needs and setting them up for success in their future. And by night, I run my business. So I am the CEO and founder of Inspiring Leaders. I have two facets of this work. One is that I am coaching other educational leaders and educational consultants out on the Lakota reservation who are really working to bring equity out there and to leverage and elevate Native voices in leadership out there. So that is some work that I'm really proud of, and I just absolutely love being part of that. The other piece of my work, and it really as much as I was blushing while Jean Marie was introducing me, she's pretty spot on, because I am kind of a trailblazer. I do not approach education in a traditional sense. Kids should never be walking into a classroom and sitting in rows and just sitting and listening all day long, which is what a lot of our classrooms still look like today. And that started over a century ago. But I've been part of a lot of really transformational work and innovative work where, to the point where students could graduate any day of the year. Imagine that. You didn't have to wait till the end of June to graduate. You could graduate any day of the year. That's the type of educator I am, a very out of the box thinker. And the way that I see education right now is across the board, not just here in the US, but also what I'm learning from other countries as well, is that our society has advanced really rapidly the past 10 to 20 years. And while education has been changing all along, it hasn't really been keeping pace with what the needs are. And we have over a century of research that tells us how people learn and how children learn that we're still not fully taking advantage of in the everyday classroom, in the everyday school, in the everyday setting. And so my mission really is to support leaders to be able to transform and revolutionize the entire system. This is one of the biggest systems that we have in the world. It includes your university system, your public schools, your charter schools, your basically half the population, right? Half of our population, or a good portion of our population, are children, and they are in our schools. And so we really have to be cognizant of what those needs are when they're leaving schools and entering whatever their chosen professions are. And so the way that I'm doing this is through a project called Ed Matadores, Revolutionizing the Educational System. And I am partnered with another lovely lady who Jean Marie and I stayed at Chrome Castle with and were published with. She is a retired special ed director in Texas. She is another speaker here in Hawaii, Dr. Angelica Benavides. And she and I have partnered together. She has a publishing company. She'll be publishing our book as well. And we are partnered so that, one, we tackle this with a series of books. So every year, at least 2 books will come out. We currently have 30 authors for our first book and are recruiting for our second book, who will be writing about solutions that they have seen working in schools. Because innovation is happening like sprinkles sprinkled across the map, and everybody's going in a different direction. My vision is to get everybody rowing in the same direction so that we all can push for change together, the change that we need. So that's number one. That will lead to a series of conferences where we'll do 4 conferences every year, a mastermind, an in-person conference, and 2 online conferences. And part of that is so that we have the time to network, we have the time to problem solve, and we can actually learn together. And we can also walk away with action steps and come back, report out what we've been able to accomplish, and get our next action steps. So it's no longer you go to a conference and you get all excited and you do the networking, and then you go back to your office and within a week, all of your energy is gone. And you're right back into the silo. I don't want that to happen anymore. I want to fight against that by having these ongoing conferences, these ongoing touch points. Those 2 pieces then lead to the third piece around revolutionizing education, and that is memberships and creating state charters and international charters so that there's this membership that people who are innovative and want to see the shift in education can become part of, can get training, can just be able to band together to then create that 4th block, which is really those political action pieces where we take our stack of books of hundreds of solutions to legislators, to state departments of education, to federal departments of education, to school districts, and they're packed with all the solutions that we need, along with what policies need to change. How do we need to support education better? So really, it's a grassroots movement tackling the challenges at the root of the problem instead of continuously slapping Band-Aids over the top. So that's where we're going with this. And that's me in a nutshell.
That is amazing. That is amazing, because you have the vision and you've got the expertise, the competencies, Donna, and you have the ability to move forward based on your faith and your belief in this program and what you and Dr. Angelica. So Dr. Donna, let me tell you, you do a day job that is very, very taxing, and you know, you're drained with that as a director of education. Am I getting the title right? Director over the
Learning.
yes, of the learning. But as an entrepreneur, you have the foresight to see, and this is what we are talking about in Hawaii, Jonathan, and what we're doing, Dr. Donna, in Hawaii, because it isn't just the ability to have one income or one income stream or one thing that you do. You are living proof that you need multiple sources, and you're doing your book, you're doing this educational piece, but you are an entrepreneur truly. And I just applaud you, your efforts, and the global influencer that you are, and that Dr. Angelica is in doing this program. Jonathan, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, a couple of things are coming to mind, and it's interesting listening to you, Donna, because if you remember the other week there, we had all of our speakers in one room, and it was electric, and you could see around the room. It was like the A-team, it was like this kind of roll call of thought leading people, and that's what I'm interested in. But I want to climb in a little bit into your head here, because that's where I usually go, and I'm interested in, does your passion for what you do and your drive for what you wanted to create come from a frustration or an impatience or a resistance that you're up against, or does it come towards what could be possible, what the opportunities are, where the growth is, or is it a mixture of both?
It's definitely a marriage of the two. As I've been in education for I'm starting my 24th year. Can't believe that I'm saying that, but I'm starting my 24th year in education. And there's a lot of red tape, and there's a lot of policy, and there's a lot of things that get in the way of teachers really being able to meet the needs of kids. And most teachers that I know, the majority, they care so deeply about the work that they do. And so there is that level of frustration of, we have these people, we have this sprinkling of innovation that's happening despite the system, that like we have people who are willing to break rules. I'm a rule breaker when it comes to some of this. I find ways to wind around them or just cut right through them, because they don't all make sense for kids, right? And we have to be able to do that. One of the authors of Ed Matador's, Eli Hernandez, is writing about something he discovered in his dissertation called moral courage. And when you are a leader, you have to lead with that moral courage, especially in a system that is supporting human beings, and developing human beings. So that's a piece of it. And then there's this other piece of it that is just finding it, through the years, I've always known I needed to be an educator. So I have this moral imperative within me to be an educator, to experience the innovative things that I've experienced, to see that things really could be different. And honestly, there's so many people that I know, my brother, my son, my dad, friends of mine, other family members, where if school had been different for them, the outcomes, not that the outcomes are bad now, but I just think like they could be doing so much more if someone had wrapped around them and really understood how they learned and understood what they were really about. And instead of making them sit there and listen to droning on and on, right? And I have yet to meet a person who doesn't know someone who barely slipped by, right? Barely slipped through, but they're perfectly intelligent. They're perfectly capable people. And so school shouldn't be a defining factor of who we are. And so that is my moral imperative, to leave the world a better place than I found it, to be able to make a difference for our kids, and our kids' kids, and so on and so forth. It's just something I've just always been really passionate about. And that passion just continues to build all the time. Like, I'm more passionate about teaching and learning now than I was 10 years ago. And it's just, maybe that passion has come because I have better language to be able to express it. But nonetheless, we just, our kids deserve the very best that we can give them. So it's a little of both, Jonathan.
I love that. That's fascinating. Because behind where there's a war, there's a belief, right? Usually where there's a war, there's a religion. It's in here. This is what drives people. And as an entrepreneur or business owner, this is your biggest asset. And this is the whole reason you do what you do. And I always find it interesting to tap into that, because that's the real you. And that's where the power comes from,
Yes.
And it's funny because literally tonight, my son and I worked on his first resume, his first CV, as they're called here. And I'm looking at this template that we're supposed to fit him into. And I thought, this isn't client centered. It's like we're cookie cutting them into this system, and I've got to do a cover letter because that's what you're supposed to do. I remember my first job application, I sent a mind map because I wanted to stand out. So I put together a mind map. I did my resume as a mind map, and it got me a job interview, which was quite cool.
Right.
So it's interesting. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting.
And I think about going to Hawaii and working with more entrepreneurs. And at first I was like, what on earth could I offer these entrepreneurs? They're business people, right? I was not a business person until I started my business. And I still don't consider myself a business person because that is not my background, but I am learning every day, learning how to market and learning all these things. But honestly, we all have to be part of the solution, right? If you are a business owner, whether you're just starting off and you're envisioning hiring people, or you are already hiring people, you want good people. And if you're not part of that solution, then you're part of the problem, right? And so that's where I think that we really need to think about, how do we better partner our schools and our businesses? How do we better build systems so that other stakeholders' voices are in there? We've all experienced school. All of us adults have experienced school in some way, shape, or form. And we can all think of ways that it could have been better for us, right? Most of us have children or grandkids or nieces or nephews or kids we care about that are in the school system, that it could be better. So why not all of us band together to make that a bigger picture? So when I say that, also when we were recruiting for our book, I had in the mindset it had to be all educational leaders. No, we actually have we have people who run real estate businesses talking about financial literacy in schools and building that financial literacy. We have someone who is a psychologist talking about how you deal with trauma, and not just trauma with kids, but how do the teachers who have been through trauma deal with their own trauma so that they can better support their kids, right? So this system is much bigger than just kids or just teachers and administrators. We all have to be part of that solution. And so that's one of the things that I'll be talking about in my keynote, how we can do that.
I love how you tied that in, Donna, because the knowledge, giving our businesses, our entrepreneurs, the company profile, recognizing the type of students that and young adults that are going to be entering the job market. I remember you and I had a conversation about a particular problem that struck my heart, was the ability to give the child or the young adult the knowledge base to prepare them for a particular business world. And you don't have the instructors that have the ability to teach the business sector. Help me out here. When we want to be able to partner possibly with corporations to bring in maybe the executives for an hour, for a week, work with that company so that they can teach what they're doing, like maybe a job shadowing type of thing. But we're trying to prepare the younger generation. How can we do that? Because I know I'm intimidated by them at times. So, I mean, my knowledge, you need that higher knowledge and the ability to collaborate with other companies and other partners and to share that knowledge. And boy, I invite you, if you are watching this, reach out to Donna, because seriously, I'm thinking even those individuals that may be nearing retirement or taking early retirement, this is the perfect opportunity to share that and to segue into something that will make a difference. And it is all about people making a difference. So, Donna, your thoughts, or Jonathan, your thoughts?
You flashed me back to, I was invited to speak at Strathclyde University in Glasgow here in Scotland as a guest lecturer for the day, and they had a entrepreneur course run by a homegrown, fairly well-known Scottish entrepreneur who financed it. So it was like an extracurricular class that it wasn't part of the syllabus, but you could do it if you wanted to go. And they asked me to come and speak one day. And so I'm standing in front of a room full of 17, 18-year-olds who are all about to come out of university or college. And the lecturer said, actually, no, we were talking to all these guys about their ideas. One of the young dudes had this great idea he came up with this cube which could project music and lasers and holograms. And he had a working prototype. He was 17 years old. He said, this is going to revolutionize the music industry. People will come to a concert, we'll put one of these things on the stage and it will entertain the troops. And I was like, that's a great idea. And he said, but I know it will make no money for the first 2 years. And I asked him, well, how do you know that? And the entire classroom looked at the lecturer. And he said, well, we know for a fact that when you launch a business, you won't make any money for the first 2 years. And I said, that's interesting, because I was in profit from month one and I've never made a loss. To which all the eyes came back to me again. I'm like, oh, hang on, I've just challenged what the lecturer taught them, you know. But the whole thing about multiple streams of income, entrepreneurs, we are paid to solve problems. There's a great phrase that says that ideas are the coin of the entrepreneur. We look at the world and we judge it, and if we don't like it, we try and come up with a solution. We try and come up with a fix. It's like Donna looks at the education system, doesn't like the way it looks, tries to come up with a fix. That's what we get paid to do. And if it moves the needle and it gets a result, then there's value in that. And the days of being an apprentice welder, then a welder, then a retired welder are long gone, long gone. And now you've got so many opportunities. If you've got knowledge in your head, if you've got academia, if you've got experience, if you've got qualifications, if you can build rabbit hutches, you've got skills that other people would pay you for. So whether you're 70 years old and you've got an idea, or whether you're 17 years old or 7 years old and you want to run a YouTube channel, or you want to create a side hustle, or you want to sell jewelry on Etsy or whatever it might be, there's absolutely no reason not to. It's never been easier. So part of, and what I like about what Donna does is we three have all been through the education system, right? And most of our knowledge started there. We all go through that factory. Primary education, secondary education, tertiary, we get through that, you know. We started off as this unconscious mind, completely open to wonder and awe, little 5-year-olds running about, just soaking up life. And then we get conditioned and institutionalized and cookie cut and taught to be quiet while I'm talking to you and pay attention. You know, sit still and face me and all that kind of stuff. The answer's not on the ceiling, Jonathan. Well, anything who knows about visual accessing cues, the answer very often is in the ceiling. Right? So a whole new world. And I think people are starting to grow and evolve. The world is shifting. It shifted in medicine, it's shifting in education, it's shifting everywhere. I'm now rabbiting. But this stuff excites me, Donna. I love it, love it, love it, love it. What are you going to be talking about in Hawaii to a whole bunch of entrepreneurs and business owners?
Yeah, so there's two pieces to what I'll be doing in Hawaii. One is really, so the keynote will really be around this idea of how do we all shift education together, right? Because our businesses are not going to grow if we are not creating tomorrow's workers, right? So how do we partner together to continue to grow and to continue to improve our educational system and revolutionize it? So that's what the keynote will be about. But the workshop that I'll be doing is on a little bit of a different avenue. So the other piece that I haven't mentioned here is I am a certified coach. I just need to apply for my second level of certification. So I actually have enough hours to be the PCC, a professional certified coach, instead of a certified professional coach. And all the acronyms are really crazy. But with that, I did a program, and it allowed me to be able to give an energy leadership index assessment. And that assessment is really unique because it helps you identify the way that you show up. Like, what are your energy levels when you show up? There are 7 levels of energy. And so this workshop will dive into how are you going to create and lead your business, and how do you want to show up in it? You get to decide that. And we're going to talk about that throughout the workshop. And there'll be opportunities to be able to take the assessment and coach. But I do coach people outside of the educational field, because this is another disjoint. And this was actually one of my own gremlins. So I have my own gremlins too, right? You're not good enough, or because you're an educator, you can't help someone who's a business owner, or something like that. And that's not true. So much of the leadership that I do, the turnaround leadership, I've been a startup leader. Leadership skills cut across all dimensions, right? And so those are things that I can support people in. And so we'll be talking through that lens of how do you coach someone, and how do you work through those energy levels to decide how to show up.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before.
Good.
That's unique.
So good.
Oh, I like it. Okay. Well,
But Donna, I could see the collaboration on your business sector. So when you began, and when we originally had the talk, and you shared with me, I'm an educator, where does this fit? And this is the perfect scenario. Truly.
I like it. It's a blend.
So, thank you, Jonathan.
Yes, I was just going to talk about a little summary of what we're going to be doing in Hawaii for anyone who doesn't know yet and hasn't heard the buzz. There's 3 main kind of areas that we're going to be focusing on. So this really is a kind of 3D CAT scan perspective. We're going to be looking at 3 major core pillars over the course of 7 days. And yes, it's for entrepreneurs. It's called the Entrepreneurs Accelerator Summit. It's all about you becoming wealthier, healthier, living longer, being able to retire early if that's what you want to do, have a shorter working week if that's what you want to do. The 3 core pillars behind it is absolutely financial wellness and earning potential, but there's also the mental health and wellness. This is your biggest asset, so you need to make sure it's in good shape. You wouldn't deliberately eat roadkill or a pizza that had been lying in the sun for 3 days, but you let all sorts of stuff into your brain. So it's about guarding the mind and making sure this thing's on your side. And the body, mind, spirit part. There's plenty of well-meaning entrepreneurs in the graveyard There's plenty of people who work themselves to death because they thought it was work-life balance. And we want to change that. We want to flip that to the other way around. So our invitation for you watching this right now is, do you want to come and spend 7 days in Hawaii with us? Here's what happens if you consider this. We are valuing our 7 days in Hawaii. It's going to be October 22nd to 29th. On the Big Island in Kona. The whole aim is to get your work week down to maybe a 5-hour work week, to live longer and healthier. And if you want to retire, I don't think I'll ever retire, but if you want to retire, then you can maybe do that. Working less hours, making more money. Taking the work-life balance equation and flipping it to be life-work balance. Creating multiple streams of income. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things. How to train your body to generate and store more energy. How long can you live without food? A couple of weeks. How long can you live without water? A few days. How long can you live without oxygen? Minutes. How long can you live without energy? You can't. You can't. And the Hawaiians are a really simple way of looking at a dead body over here and a living body over here. There's two things. One is got energy. And two, the one that's got energy is breathing. So therefore, breath is life. In fact, ha in Hawaiian means breath or energy or mana, as in chi in China and ki in Japan. We can train you and teach you how to generate and store more energy. How would you like to be able to get more done in a day? How would you like to live longer? How would you like to not burn out your batteries? That's one of the many things we're going to be talking about on this program. So it's not just about being an entrepreneur or making money. 7-day Entrepreneur Summit is valued at $7,444. What else do you need? Well, we thought, wouldn't it be good if we put all the speakers and all the delegates into the same venue, so that it's not a case of Donna does her talk and then leaves and we don't see Donna again. It's like Donna does her talk, comes off stage, and we'll get swamped by people because we're all in the same venue. So we're including 7 days accommodation in the King Kamehameha Beach Resort, the Marriott, right on the beach. There's a sacred site on the island. This is where King Kamehameha's bones were laid out after he died. This is a very, very special spiritual location, and that's another reason why we're there. We're also there during a astrological event as well. So if you're an astrology believer, then you've got a major, what's the word I'm looking for? Crossing of the lines here, all happening at the same point. A conjunction, that's the word I was looking for. So you're probably thinking, okay, at 7-day Entrepreneur Summit, 7 days of accommodation, what else could we do? Why don't we do a fire walk? Why don't we have you walking barefoot across red hot coal in Hawaii? Now, why would you do that? Fire walking originates in India originally. Tony Robbins made fire walking mainstream in the 1980s. He went to one of his teachers, John Grinder, one of his original NLP mentors, and said, I need an angle, I need a shtick, I need something to hang my hat on. And Grinder suggested something that the Western mind can't comprehend. So Tony went away and learned how to do fire walking. The Hawaiians used to walk across recently cooled lava. Not the red stuff. They would let it go black, and then he would walk over it. But trust me, it's still hot. So why not do a fire walk in Hawaii under the Hawaiian sun? How cool would that be? That's easily going to be another $2,500 if you book it anywhere else. We're up to $12,000. Let's add in the Island Breeze luau. The whole idea is that you're going to be entertained, you're going to be fed, you're going to be eating Hawaiian food by tiki torch in the Pacific Ocean on a genuine luau presented by the Island Breeze cultural team, where you get to hear the hula, you get to hear the chants, and you get to really feel the mana of the location. That's also part of your experience. The whole thing is valued at about $12,500. Now, you know how it works. If you're on a webinar, you're not going to pay that price. But think about this. If all it did was it cut your working week, your current working week, down to 5 hours a week, would that be worth spending 7 days in Hawaii learning how to do? If all it did was added 10 years to your life with all your faculties and everything functioning, would that be worth it? If all it did was gave you the ability to bring your retiring date earlier, if you ever plan to retire, would that be worth it? Ponder that. So 7,444 is going to be the full retail price that we're going to be putting it up to shortly. But because you're here, we are currently offering the early bird price. It's $5,444. All the information about the training, the speakers, Donna, everybody else, the itinerary, the accommodation. You can do a 3D walkthrough through the hotel. It's all at acceleratedentrepreneur.org. There are 4 kinds of tickets. You can have a look at all of those. There's even funding available, so you can break it down into monthly payments. And if you are serving or have served in the military, then we have a 20% discount off all ticket prices as well. So well worth looking at. You can do one or two things. You can either do nothing and soon get fed up seeing our social media posts, our videos, our podcasts, our everything that we're going to be doing there, footage of the event that you weren't at, wondering what if. Or you can go to the website, book a ticket, and join us in Hawaii. That's what I would do. $12,500 worth of value, currently priced at $5,444. Now, if you can't pay in full, we do have a number of funding opportunities where we can actually break this down into a monthly payment. And the first payment is not due for 30 days. So you don't even have to put anything down. Have a look at the website. The links are on the website. Now, we also have a fast action bonus. For the first 5 people who book this based on tonight's webinar, we're going to give you a free meditation audio of a process in Hawaii called ho'oponopono. Pono is to get right and to get clear and to bury the hatchet and get everything said that needs to be said. When you double up pono, that means like getting really, really clear. It's like getting totally done and dusted. Ho'oponopono is to make yourself clean and cut connections of anything that holds you back. And it was traditionally a process that was done in person, face to face. We've turned it into an audio meditation. You can listen to it and it takes you through a very, very profound experience. The first time you do this thing, you will feel it. And the people that you cut connections from will feel it. But this is not a certain 10-word affirmation that has been made popular by a certain author who, in his book, right at the start, states that affirmations don't work. And then bases the entire book on a 10-word affirmation. Go figure. We're going to teach you the real thing. So go and check out acceleratedentrepreneur.org. Information is all there. Oh yeah, we're also going to be launching a book, Jean Marie, are we not?
Yes, we are. And you know what's really, really special about this is all of our speakers who are speaking are writing a chapter in that book. So we have an anthology and they're taking what they're talking about and sharing, Jonathan, a best kept secret. So this is global. This is a global opportunity. World influencers who have the knowledge, who have the skills and the experience. And Jonathan, in one of our conversations, you had shared, can you imagine how many years, what was the number? Yeah. We need to figure this out.
We need to add that up. Yeah.
We need to add that up, because when you stop to think the 30 plus speakers that I have and who have been in the business for so many years, and I'm not talking just one, because as you said, the multidiscipline is important to have multiple businesses, but it feeds what you learn in those businesses you bring to the next one. It isn't just walking away, closing the door, and you're done with that business. No, you're bringing knowledge and skills. And the other thing that we hadn't spoken about is the networking. The networking, the program that we are having. Shelley Jorgensen with the Executive Event Networks. Did I say that right? Executive Networking Events, Inner Circle, just bar none. We're going to have a program. It is not just about socializing. This is a program throughout the week on networking, and that in itself is so much value, because you learn the proper ways and the connections that you're going to make.
We're going to be matchmaking people. We're going to know who you are, why you're there, what you want, and then we're going to make sure that you spend quality time with the right contacts. So it's not just a random thing. And everybody's going to be in one location for the 7 days. So there's plenty of time to pick people's brains, to arrange one-to-ones, to do all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. We also have an exhibition on the last day. So we're going to have an expo where all the speakers will be offering their courses, their training, their programs, their books, all that kind of stuff. You've got a wealth of knowledge there. You've got hundreds of years of business experience. I know certainly when I started out, the first thing I was told to do was to go to conferences and speak to people who were doing what I wanted to do. And in my case, it was NLP and hypnotherapy. I wanted to become a therapist and help people with their heads and their hearts. So I went around the room and asked everybody, what should I do and what should I not do? And I got some critical pieces of advice, which built my business, which made it profitable from month one. So to have that brain trust and to have that level of experience in one place, it's invaluable. Where else are you going to get that? You can hire a coach, sure. You can do a home study program or online course, sure. But that's only one teacher. You can come and get 30 odd people, never mind all the other delegates who are going to be in the room. So
right.
Fantastic.
Oh my goodness. No. And so the book, going back to the anthology, it is the art of saving time and money. And we truly know that there are so many secrets that we're going to share with you, that in itself will be a gem that you can take, because this is not a conference or a meeting. This is truly an event. And the purpose behind it is when you leave, you are not there just for the day. You will be, there'll be a transformation, if you will. And you're not going to be that same person because of all the impact, the knowledge, the body, mind, and spirit, the mental health and wellness, the financial wellness, the business psychology, and the business techniques, because we are speaking on leadership, we are speaking on diversity and inclusion, cybersecurity, not only cybersecurity for the business, but cybersecurity and awareness and safety and everything for the family. So it touches you as a whole, because as an entrepreneur, it is not just about reading a book and learning your expertise. Not at all.
You don't get a driving license by playing Grand Theft Auto.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's the whole person that we are looking at, that we are touching upon. Jonathan, before we leave, we need to have Dr. Donna provide us your contact information, and how can people get a hold of you, and any takeaway. Oh,
You're muted.
My apologies. So I think the easiest way to get a hold of me is actually through LinkedIn. I have a open profile, so if you type in Donna Vallese, I will come up. There are not too many people out there with my name, which is kind of a nice thing. So connect with me there, send me a message, let me know where you heard me, and I'm happy to connect and talk with pretty much anyone. I just like human beings. So, but I'm really, really looking forward to this. There are some powerhouse people that will be speaking in Hawaii, and I know many of them, about half of them personally. I've been working with them. I've been JVing with some of them, and really, really incredible people that will create an energy that you won't want to ever leave behind. So,
and that, oh, and you put it so graciously, Donna, this truly, we'll be learning some of the Hawaiian words, some of the Hawaiian culture, but a couple of the words before we leave today, I want to, and Jonathan as well, we embrace the word ohana, and ohana means family. Yeah. And the Hawaiian meaning to that, the extended definition is nobody left behind. And so we really, really want to embrace that meaning, that culture. because it truly, that's the way it should be throughout the world,
Let us
not
help
just
you.
in Hawaii.
Yeah, let us help you. Don't make it difficult. Let us help you. We want to help. So let us help.
Why we are here, and we were the best kept secret up until now.
Wow.
Up until now.
Can you imagine if we all rocked up in a tour bus? You know, we could do a road show. We could show up at a town or our village and just rock the place. Right, here's what we're going to change. You know, we
We're
could do some
done.
damage.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are at the top of the hour, I think, Jonathan.
We are indeed. We need to move on.
And
two things I would say. First, I would say to Dr. Donna is mahalo, which means thank you. Mahalo. And another Hawaiian phrase, absolutely. And another Hawaiian phrase you can learn is a hui ho. A hui ho, which means till we meet again.
Till we meet again. Jonathan, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person for the first time. We've been talking online for many, many years. Well,
absolutely.
A couple of years now. And then to be able to see Jean Marie again, I'm really excited.
It's going to be fabulous.
Thank you
ladies.
so much.
Well done.
We are excited. Thank you.
Awesome.
Mahalo. And a hui ho.
We hope.